Hi, and welcome to our Facebook Live. Please do use the event chat for any questions to chat to each other and let us know how you're doing and where you're joining us from. And don't forget to like the stream. We'll be recording this session, so it will be available to watch as and when you need to. So, I'm Claire, Product Manager for Qualifications at AAT, and today we're going to be talking about our brand new and exciting development, the Level 3 Botswana Tax Processes for Businesses unit. This unit has been specifically designed for the Botswana market and explores um, tax processes that influence the daily operations of businesses. It's designed to develop your skills in understanding, preparing, and submitting VAT returns, but to also meet the regulations and standards required by the Botswana Unified Revenue Authority Services, BIRD. I'm joined today by Precious, who has been our in country expert helping us to shape this unit. She's also the AAT External Quality Assurer for Botswana and South Africa. She has been involved in the delivery of AAT programs and is very passionate about delivering high quality education that enables AAT students to achieve their goals. So, Precious, can you talk us through the unit, please?
Thank you very much, Kali, for the great introduction. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this AAT Live Facebook event, where we are happy to introduce to you the new Level 3 Botswana Tax Processes for Business Unit. This unit will be launched by AAT on the 1st of September 2023. So, you might wonder, why Botswana tax? So, there has been a discourse by captains of industry and commerce and other stakeholders, including BQA, that is the Botswana Qualification Authority, for the tax unit to be aligned to the Botswana context. So, yes, this has been done, and today I want to walk you through the learning outcomes. But before I go to the learning outcomes, you may have questions about what are the advantages of this Botswana tax unit. So, this unit has been aligned to the Botswana context, which is reflective of the tax rules and regulations. Secondly, it is a practical unit. Hence, students are taught the real world of work. And thirdly, this unit equips students with skills, knowledge, and competencies that meet the practical requirements uh, to work in any industry. Um, I also want to talk about the target group. You might wonder, okay, so this text unit, does it also refer to me, or does it can I be able to write this unit? Yes, the text unit or the Botswana text unit is for those students who are currently enrolled in level 3 or who are planning to sit for the assessment or to resit this unit. So this is the target group. Now I move on. Now, when you are studying this unit, what are the documentations or the documents that you require? Firstly, we found out that as you are doing the Botswana tax, you really need to understand the Value Added Tax Act and the Income Tax Act. So these are very important documents that you really need to download. And then the most important thing as well is for you to access the Botswana Unified Revenue Service website so that you are able to download important documents such as the VAT forms that you'll be using in your study. Then I've noted that there are some very important notes that you as a student you should take note of. When you're studying this unit as a student, you should be able to know or have knowledge of the areas of the tax that are covered in this unit. Secondly, you need also to know the different types of reports that are produced from different accounting systems. You know, in Botswana, we have studied or we've been doing your computerized accounting or pastel, and then there are a lot of accounting softwares that are done here in Botswana, like the Zero, like the ACPAC accounting package, or any others that you can be able to know of. So these are the different accounting systems that you are to be familiarized so that you are able to depict information from there. And then you also need to know the BURS rules and regulations. And most importantly, you also need to understand the tax uh, cut-off dates. You remember last time you were using 12%. Now our standard rate is now 14%. So you really need to know the cut-off dates. Then the next thing is you should ensure that you comply with confidentiality, security, and data protection principles when delivering this unit. Let me take, for example, when you are dealing with payroll, a pay slip, you know that it's a very confidential uh, document. So you mustn't, when you are dealing with the payroll issues, you mustn't just tell anyone or everyone the salaries of your employees. Let's say you are now working. So these are the notable points that I just want to tell you that when you are dealing with this text, you really need to take note of. Then I think now I can move on to the learning outcomes. What are you expected to know, or what does the syllabus covers? So there are 5 learning outcomes which you are supposed to know. Here I'm just summarizing. However, when you are able, when it has been launched, you are able to access my AAT and go through each and every learning outcome and understand it. So here, please take note that I've just summarized because of time. So the learning outcome number 1 is you are supposed to understand the legislation requirements relating to VAT. And then when I'm talking about VAT, now where do you now find this information? This information, you need to download the VAT Act. Remember the documents that I said you must always have. Download the VAT Act, and in that VAT Act, it will even tell you what is VAT and what are the records that needs to be kept and how long these records should be kept. All this information, Bakaizo, you will get them from VAT Act. Same with registration and deregistration requirements. This is all other information that is in your syllabus. So you really need to understand the registration and deregistration thresholds, what are taxable supplies, standard rated supplies, everything is there in the VAT Act. Then we move on, still on the learning outcome number 1, we talk about the filing and the payment of VAT returns. How do we file? How do we pay? How do we complete the VAT returns? And then uh, how do we do the e-service? Remember, these days, BURS is encouraging people or stakeholders or everyone of us to do e-service. How do I apply for the e-service? Everything is there. So next is the powers of the BURS when you now fail to uh, to, to, to fill up or to register in time or to complete the forms. What are the powers of BRS or to penalize businesses that have failed to register for VT? This is our learning outcome one. So most of the information here, you get it from the VAT Act. Then learning outcome two uh, explains on the calculation of VAT. So the calculation of VAT, now this is practical. You really need to understand the records you use to extract data. These are accounting records. For an example, you can go to the pastel and you use the trial balance so that you are able to complete the VAT form. So here there's a whole lot of practical, a lot of calculations that are done in order for you to know how to calculate VAT. And again, we talk about the VAT invoices. The VAT invoices, a question will say, what are the contents and form of a VAT form? So in this case, let's say you want to understand the contents. You go to your VAT Act, and when you 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 go in that act, you look for section 23. That is where you get all the detailed information for the VATs. Then we also talk about the time limits for issuing VAT invoices. Some invoices are a 30-day invoice, some invoices are a 30-day invoice, 14-day, and so forth and so on. So on all this information, you'll get it from that section 23 of the VAT Act. And then you also need to calculate input tax, output tax, everything is you will be knowledgeable about this thing of calculations. So on our learning outcome 3, we talk about reviewing and verifying the VAT returns. So this you have to, what so completing a VAT. Obviously, there are a lot of mistakes that can happen. So you also need to know how to report previous period errors or omissions that that cannot be corrected in that current VAT return, or you also need to how to verify information contained within the VAT returns. So in this case as well, this is a very practical activity whereby we are saying now that you need to download the VAT form from BRS, and now make sure or ensure that you know how to fill in the relevant boxes of the Botswana VAT return form. So these are some of the practical activities that you will be able to do in class. Then I move on to the learning outcome 4, which is understanding principles of payroll. The moment I'm talking about payroll, now you move on to the Income Tax Act, whereby now you look for the sections for payroll. What does payroll mean? And who operates the payroll? So everything now in that Income Tax Act will also provide you with the relevant information that you need to do. Then BRS powers which are required to comply with. You really need to understand this. And then you also are going to learn about record keeping, about submissions of the returns, about payments of the amount due, and also there are also some certain forms that you really need to complete. It's like, for an example, the individual income tax return, which is which you really need to understand on how to complete the information. So we know that the employees, the employers need to distribute the forms to employers that are required to be filled up well in time. So all this information, like I said, this is a very practical unit which you as students, I'm sure you will be very happy to understand this. And then we move on to the learning outcome number 5, which is reporting of information within the organization. In this unit, as you know, when you are working or when you are in the real world of work, you are supposed to communicate effectively. When you are working, we are teaching you to communicate information and not to stay with the information and then communicate at a later stage where the disaster has already been met. So in this learning outcome, we are teaching you how to communicate the relevant information. If you do not know how to deal with some other information, you don't just sit and say, let me just leave it, but you report to your senior or to your supervisors. So this is a very important learning outcome, which we found that it's very important for you as students to understand communication. So the communication, you need also to know if you have got a query which is beyond your current working experience. So you need to know the reporting lines. Then we move on to the legislation, regulation, and the guidance and codes of practice. So you also are being taught where to find information regarding to the changes to VAT and the payroll law. So this all information is going to be provided. So in summary, I would want to go through the topics which you are going to be taught in the VAT, on some VAT topics, such as the registration and deregistration, keeping businesses and VAT records, the contents of the VAT invoice, processing, processes and procedures when dealing with international trade. How do you use the BURS e-service, and ethics, which is very important, communication and data protection. So these are the some of the topics which I've just summarized that you are going to meet in this Botswana tax processes for business. And also some of the information which are going to meet in the income tax as follows: the information required to complete the forms. We have talked about the ITA, the payroll deadlines, and the charges or late payroll payment, what is going to take place when you've completed the payroll and submitted it late. And then we have you are also going to know that you have to understand the following topics on ethical principles when dealing with tax, and then um, the tax processes that you as a student have to understand in terms of integrity and objectivity. And also as a student, we require you to have professional competence. Then in terms of personal data or payroll, students should ensure that this must be handled in a confidential manner. Um, and most importantly now, we are saying that in order for you to know this, you have to log into my AAT and access the following AAT resources. AAT has got lots and lots of practical assessments that you really need to go through before writing the assessment. There are e-learning tests, there's green light tests, and then you also need to access to the BRS website for the latest tax updates. And then, uh, how is the assessment crafted? There is pick and drop. You can do calculations. You can find matching questions. You can find true or false questions. And maybe you would want to understand how long the assessment would take. Normally, the assessment has been planned to take place for 1 hour 30 minutes. I think that is what I have for you, students. Back to you, Clay. Thank you so much.
Very much, Precious. We've had some questions in, so let's have a look at what we've got, shall we? So we've
Yes.
had some, let me have a look what we've got here. Where are we? So we've got when will the course be offered? How long will it take? And can it be done online?
The Botswana tax is going to take place after the 1st of September. In fact, it is going to be launched on the 1st of September 2023, and this is not going to be offered online, unfortunately.
Thank you. We've had another question. Can I still opt to do the UK unit and not the Botswana tax unit?
I'm sure, yes, you can still opt to do that. It is possible.
So sorry, I'm just gonna. So if you're living, sorry, if you're living in Botswana, you will only be able to sit the Botswana tax processes for businesses unit. If you're sitting outside of Botswana, then you can still sit the UK unit. So just to clarify on that,
Okay, thank you.
it's okay. What other questions have we got? Um, is the unit part of the level 3 units, or can I sit it separately and be awarded for it?
No, you cannot. It's part of the level 3. You cannot sit it separately for now, unfortunately.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm losing my voice there. Let's have a look at what other questions we've had through today. Uh, what about if we've already completed level 3 or the level 3 UK unit, but we're interested in doing the new tax unit? Can I do that?
Yes, you can definitely do that. Remember, we said if you want to resit the unit, or if you want to sit for that assessment, you can definitely do so.
Thank you. We've had a couple of questions on that one, so let me just have a look at what else we've got. We've had a question. I'm a business person who is interested in enrolling for this course to help maintain my returns. What is required for enrolling?
Sorry, Claire, can you repeat that one?
Yep, sure. Basically, it's somebody who is interested in enrolling on the level 3 qualification.
Mhm.
How can they do that?
Enrolling on the level 3 business unit
Yeah,
or only?
the tax unit. Yeah.
Okay, I think they can be able to write it because now, as we say, it has been contextualized. They can be able to write the level 3 business unit for the Botswana tax. They can be able to do so.
Okay. Thank you. What else have we got? We've had. Let's have a look. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer this one. I may need to help a little bit. So I have completed the qualification previously and my membership has lapsed. Can I come back just to do this unit? Do I need to reinstate my membership? Do you want me to help
I
with
think
that
it's
one?
automatic.
Yeah.
That one.
So if you've previously completed the level 3 under AQ16, you can transition over to Quals 22 to sit this new Botswana tax unit. You would need to reinstate your membership, which I believe is a discounted rate for the Botswana market. And you would also need to follow transitional arrangements. So there are other units that you may need to sit in addition. So it's worth taking a look at the transitional arrangements document that we have available on my AAT, because that's got all of the details in there of what you need to do, and you can work out what's the best option for you. All right, let's see what else. We've got questions coming in thick and fast now. Here we go. Let's take this one. If I do Botswana tax and want to work outside of Botswana, does that mean I have to take the UK tax as a single unit?
Mm, that one is a bit tricky. I'm not so sure whether you can help me clear on that one.
Okay, that's fine. So if you are currently in Botswana, the UK tax unit is not available for you to sit. Only the Botswana tax unit is, and unfortunately, the tax units aren't available at the moment to sit individually outside of the qualification. However, that is something we're looking at sort of in the future. Let's have a look. I think that looks like all the questions we've got at the moment. Please do keep chatting to us, keep letting us know if you've got any more questions for us. It's great to see the engagement that we've had so far today. Just as I've said earlier, and just as a reminder, this session is being recorded, so you can watch it back, sort of if and when you need to. So yeah, just keep interacting with us and keep asking those questions. So, Precious, I've got a question for you. Can you just talk us through what resources are going to be available again for me?
Okay, thank you so much, Clay. The AAT has got a lot of resources for this Botswana Tax unit. The e-learning materials that are going to be on the website. The students have got the practice assessments, whereby we are saying that, and we encourage the students to do the practice assessments before they write the unit, the assessment, and then we have the green light tests also need to do. So basically, all these on the 1st of September, they will be available on the AAT website. So everything, even the learning outcomes, students also are able to see what the coverage of the syllabus will be like. So we encourage the students, soon as it is launched, to log into my AAT and look deeper on what they are supposed to know. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. I think that's all the questions we've had today. So thank you very much for joining me today, Precious. It's been really interesting to hear you talk about this new unit. It's been fabulous. From the comments, it looks like our learners are really looking forward to this one. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, AAT, for organizing this. And I'm sure our students are going to enjoy this practical unit. Thank you.
Thank you, Precious. And thank you, everyone else, for joining us today. I hope we've answered all your questions. If you've got any more after this, please let us know. Please get in touch. And thank you for joining us today.